Let me just say Happy New Year one more time. I forgot to wear my glasses yesterday. Cubs with some moves in their organization, including a new farm director. We're going to talk about that, the direction of the minor league system, and a hearty Happy New Year. Have you made your resolutions yet? Maybe I'll tell you what mine is. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Let's get this thing started. What do you say, everybody? Welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel. Mick Gillispie here at Broadcaster Mick on the socials. And let me remind you that the channel right now is presented by the Tennessee Smokies. The Smokies baseball team won their first championship in 45 years, and they've got some amazing swag at the Smokies team store. That's smokiesbaseball.com/store. Check it out. They've got Cubs stuff there as well and a bunch of autograph stuff. All right, let's talk about what's going on with the Cubs. Not making major moves, but some moves today as the Cubs are hiring Jason Kanzler as the player development director, and Ryan Otero is taking over as the director of pitching, right? And The Athletic, amongst others, broke that story. And it makes sense. I mean, I wasn't sure who was going to get the farm director job. I thought that maybe they would go in-house. There were some good candidates there, but they go with Kanzler, who is basically taking over the job that Jared Banner had. Jared Banner was promoted to assistant general manager. Now, he was, vice president of player personnel, and had the same job, right, but had a different title. And then when Craig Breslow went to Boston, they kind of split that position up. Banner went to the big leagues, and then Ryan Otero is going to take over the pitching part of it, as he'll be the lead in the Cubs pitching department, right? So both guys getting a bump. And the farm director position that Kanzler's getting is a big deal right now because the Cubs have a very good farm system. It's one of the best farm systems in baseball. And, you're talking about, just a couple of years ago where it was at the bottom of, baseball. But they made all of these trades. And when they traded away so much talent, after Theo Epstein left, and that was kind of one of the jobs that Jed Hoyer was tasked with, they got an influence of talent, and then they went out and they drafted, and they got more players there. So you look through this farm system right now, and it's as good as it's been in a long time. And they go out and they bring Kanzler over from Houston, where, he did a good job of helping develop some of the players that the Astros had, and including Jeremy Pena, who is a shortstop, and, helped them win as a rookie the World Series. And he was one of the best players that the Astros had. And that second World Series was important because, remember, the first one, they had the cheating scandal. So they won that one, and, there's no arguing there. And for Pena, he was a rookie, and he won the ALCS and World Series MVPs, right? So the Cubs are kind of hoping that maybe they can find that same type of success with guys like Pete Crow Armstrong and Owen Casey and Kevin Alcantara and BJ Murray and Matt Shaw and do that with Ben Brown and Jordan Wicks and pitchers like that. But the farm system's pretty deep too. And I'm wondering what the impact that Otero is going to have. Now, he was part of the staff that, that Craig Breslow put together that helped kind of turn the Cubs pitching department around. So he was part of that, and it's an easy move there. as that goes. And then I was thinking about like the job of farm director and how that's changed in my time. The best one, or one of the best ones that I can remember, was Oneri Fleta. He was the farm director under Jim Hendry, and he was tough. He was really tough and demanding of the players and really pushed accountability. And that was something that I saw kind of start to slip. But I think it's important because when you get to the big leagues, they expect you to have that accountability. When you're in the minor leagues, that's where you really want to develop accountability. You want to kind of say, hey, here's what you got to do. And if you don't do it, there's a consequence to it. Because once you get to the major leagues and you've got the union and you've got the money and the pressure and the fame and all of that stuff, it's really hard to teach someone to do the little things that it takes when a lot of that is taught when they're at a young age coming up through the minor leagues, right? And then there was a time where I felt like the Cubs had very little accountability in their system. And I've talked about this a lot on here, that there was a stretch where I felt like there was almost a sense of elitism, and that's bad. I mean, that's something that is, you're not going to develop a lot of talent and win games when you have a system of elitism and entitlement. Those two things went together. But I've really seen a change in that. I think Jared Banner, who was tough and demanding as a farm director, but fair, did a nice job, and that's obviously why he's been promoted. And I personally like him. I gotten to talk to him, and I think that he's going to do a great job in the big leagues. But I hope that toughness continues, because he and Oneri kind of, bring that toughness to the minor leagues, and I really think that that's one of the reasons on top of talent, right? But I think that that's one of the reasons why we've seen this organization kind of take a step forward. And as far as pitching goes, one of the biggest complaints that I've had, and I think a lot of the players that are being developed have, is that there's a big list of stringent rules on how much you pitch, right? And it's, or how little you pitch. And I think the guys want to throw more. The Cubs, though, don't want to get guys hurt. But at the same time, how much of a stunt in development are you having when you're really limited to 4 innings in a start in the minor leagues, or you're never going to see the lineup 3 times through, right? I don't know that any of that's going to change, but I think that it's an area where maybe if you started to try to say, hey, let's get 6 innings out of a start, you're going to develop pitchers that are ready to pitch at least 6 innings in the major leagues, right? Instead of pushing for 4 or 5, and then you get to the big leagues and you're ready to pitch 4 or 5 innings, and then your bullpen doesn't last very long, because we've seen that in the minor leagues. So anyway, just my thoughts on it. You guys tell me what you think. Who is the most important minor leaguer? That's the question that I have for you to develop and get to the big leagues and be a part of the major league team. Just curious. Who do you guys think? I think a lot of us feel like it's Pete Crow Armstrong. I mean, that's an obvious choice, right? He's the number 1 Cubs, prospect and a center fielder that some people think could even be like the rookie of the year. I've seen that. Well, maybe it's Cade Horton, and the potential to be an ace, or maybe it's Ben Brown, or, maybe it's a dark horse candidate. Could Walker Powell be the next Javier Assad? I mean, we don't know, but that's why I'm asking you guys. You tell me. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us. Again, our channel is presented by the Smokies baseball team, and their team store, smokiesbaseball.com/store. Check out their great merch, including Cubs gear, great prices. They've got autographed baseball cards at the collector's corner there. They also have game-worn jerseys. Some of those are autographed as well. If you're a Grateful Dead fan, every year they do the Grateful Dead night, and they have like the really cool baseball-themed posters that you can hang up. All that stuff, find out for yourself. smokiesbaseball.com/team store. We'll talk to you soon, guys. Thanks for hanging. Go Cubs.